Hello ladies and gentlemen, Keaton here, and welcome to this week's look at the latest Nuclear Throne update. This is update number 27. Now for those of you who don't know, this is the one time a week where we take a look at the latest Nuclear Throne update. We take that change log, put that into video format for your viewing pleasure, and show you as much as possible. So let's get started. First up, as always, before we check out update number 27, let's take a quick look back at update number 26. Now in update number 26, we saw the continued focus on the palace with the inclusion of the exploding guardians and tweaks to the ghost guardian. But we also saw the inclusion of the lightning SMG, a super effective, fast shooting lightning weapon that's pretty self-explanatory actually. And as always, a ton of bug fixes and changes. So as always, if you want to see a more in-depth look at update number 26, check out our previous video, which also has a link to the full changelog, should you desire to read it. And with that out of the way, let's now focus on update number 27, because it's gonna get hot in here. I'm sorry. So on update number 27, where to begin? Let's start with the most obvious that I'm sure everyone has already seen. Well, maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, this week, Vlambeer have added a new enemy type to the game called the Fire Salamanders. I'm just gonna say it outright. Anybody who's played Dark Souls 2, tell me that this does not look like that fire lizard that's in Dark Souls 2. Obviously, there's, a slight variation, but this has to be an enemy inspired by Dark Souls, yes? I know Paul Veer, the artist for the game, actually did a live stream. I don't know if he ever mentioned the inspiration, but it definitely looks like a Dark Souls 2 fire salamander. I think they're called the same thing too. Anyway, I'm just saying it looks like it. And I can appreciate that because I'm a fan of the Souls series. But on to what the Fire Salamanders actually do. These things are walking flamethrowers. Yes, they are basically a moving variation of the fire turrets that you get in the scrapyard. So they seem to be idle until you get into their vicinity, and then they start moving around, and occasionally they'll start spouting fire in your general direction, much like the flamethrower that you can pick up in the game. So yes, essentially they're walking danger zones, they don't seem to attack as often as the other enemies, which is good, because again, they can do a whole 360 with their fire thingy, it's like a full-blown, it's like someone taking a torch or a flamethrower and just spraying it in your direction. That's essentially what these flame salamanders do. So you're definitely going to want to be careful. These things show up in the scrapyard. I do not believe they show up anywhere else, but I could be wrong. I did not make it to the palace, but they only seem to spawn in the scrapyard. So definitely be careful. With all those fire traps, you've now got moving fire traps, so be on extra alert. But enemies are not the only huge thing to make note of this week, and this is something I think a lot of players are going to be really excited to hear. Rebel's allies are now a bit more useful. They underplay this in the update. I tried Rebel now, and she is an actual viable character from the start. For those of you who don't know, Rebel's allies, which is her ability, is she can sacrifice 2 health to spawn an ally. Now this ally in the past has been less than stellar and has made Rebel a pretty weak character. It's high risk with very little reward. But now Rebel's allies have been tweaked to the point where they are actually viable options. They're much smarter, they're much more aggressive, and I believe this is new, but when they die, they do the same bullet hell effect that Rebel does when she gets hit. So in a lot of ways, Rebel's allies are now much better. And again, they underplay this in the changelog. They just say they're a bit more useful. They are way more useful. They don't seem to get stuck or circle around themselves as much as they used to. It's hard to describe in particular, but anyone who has played Rebel for any extended period of time will probably notice the difference right off the bat, because the allies are just that much more useful. So definitely, if you've been sour on Rebel as I have, definitely give her a shot now, because you don't need as many mutations now to just see the difference in how good Rebel can be. So definitely give Rebel a second chance, those of you who have completely given up hope on her, because she might now become your favorite because her allies are actually useful. So yes. Now maybe reading change logs and listening to me do the whole change log is not your bag, and you just want the very basic new things that are gonna be showing up in your game in the updates. Good news, Vlambeer now have that listed in the game itself. So when you're on the main menu, you can click the little question mark thing. It'll tell you what version you're on. It'll tell you the most prominent features in that update. And it also gives you a link to the forums and the changelog itself. So it's very self-contained now. You can get all the most important information that you need right there in the game itself. So you can just get all that information on your own, at your own leisure, at any time. Awesome. So that does it for the new content this week. Let's take a quick look at the changes and fixes for the week. There have been a few tweaks to the way the nuke works. Not only is it now easier to steer around, but it now spawns smoke when it explodes. The odd graphical glitch with the Steam overlay has now apparently been fixed. Exploding Guardians now have a different placeholder bullet. I believe they used to spawn the Scorpion's acid, maybe. But now they do more of a, like, it seems to be more like a shotgun shell pellet. It's a much thicker bullet is the best way that I can describe it. And for those of you who like to hit that random button and were a little disappointed when you would quick restart and you would get the same character, good news, that has been changed. So now anytime you quick restart in-game, when you choose random, you will get a new random character every time. Well, depending on the RNG, of course, you know. But yes, if you are one of those who love random and want random to be random, random is now random. Yeah. And of course, there are the expected bug fixes and a few other changes that I have not mentioned. And as always, if you want to read the entire changelog yourself, check the description below for a link to the full changelog. And that does it for the update this week. Now my thoughts real quick. First off, again, I don't know if the fire salamander is supposed to be a reference to Dark Souls 2. I kind of hope it is because, you know, again, I'm a fan of the Souls series. So it's nice to see one franchise that I enjoy starting to get referenced in another game that I really enjoy as well. So I like that crossover. Even if it's not, again, just like with Crystal being orange, I can just pretend that it is. I will say it's funny to see a fire salamander show up because fire has been the bane of my existence for my playthroughs for the last couple weeks. Fire has always been my biggest enemy, pretty much, as opposed to bullet hell, I guess. But now it's funny to see there's basically a roaming version of the fire turret. So that's gonna be exciting. I definitely hope that with the inclusion of the flame salamanders will mean less things shooting at you at one time, because the bullet hell over the last couple updates has been kind of crazy, at least for me. I don't know how it is for you guys, but yeah, other than that, Rebel, amazing change. Apparently, according to a tweet from JW, like, it was a real simple fix to change like a large portion of Rebel's ally AI or something. But yeah, whatever was tweaked works. Like, Rebel feels a lot more substantial. I didn't necessarily play with her too long, but I really did tests where I made the allies fight much more than I did, and I feel like if I were to actually focus, Rebel might be an actual viable character now. So I'm really excited to see what else I can get away with Rebel. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Rebel. It was nice to see that not only did we get a new addition of a new enemy, but we saw finally something that I think a lot of the community has been asking for, which was a tweak to Rebel's allies to make her a more viable character. So really happy to see all that coming to fruition. Really excited to see them go back to the palace, hopefully. A weird bug I did notice, I don't know if it's a bug, because technically they're ghosts, but the exploding guardians sort of like clip through the wall. They don't seem to abide by the same rule set as the other enemies, so it can get a little tricky, because that's exactly what killed me on a certain run to the palace. Is I tried to avoid one of the guardians, the exploding guardians. It clipped into the wall and actually hit me from the other side, so I died. But yeah, I don't know if that's a glitch. I don't know if that's expected. It was a little odd, so I'm assuming it wasn't supposed to happen, but it happened. But yeah, I know the palace is still a work in progress, a heavy work in progress actually. I hope to see more focus on those areas. I hope to see a little more cleanup on the unfairness in a way sometimes that you get. We really haven't seen that in a while. But other than that, awesome update. Really excited to see what else they have coming down the pipeline, I think is the right terminology. Yeah, I would love to know what you guys think of the fire salamanders. Did you guys think the exact same thing as me immediately? Or am I just like one of those that one-track mind because I've been playing Dark Souls way too much recently? How are you liking Rebel's new ally AI? That is almost a tongue twister. And all the other tweaks. Anything you guys have on your mind, let me know and I would love to hear it. And with that said, that was the update. Once again, if you would like to read the full changelog, check the link in the description below. And as always, if you would like to learn more about this game or if you would like to purchase it yourself, check out nuclearthrone.com. Vlambeer also live streamed the development and also the other team. Vlambeer is just the developers. There's like a whole team, and I want to give a quick plug to Justin Chan, who is the, I guess he's more the promotional artist for the game. Paul Veer is the in-game artist. Justin Chan does like a lot of promo art, and he's actually the one who did the initial art that I redid for the intro of these update videos. And he's actually been doing a lot of art for the updates recently. I think it's as much as like update number 25 and earlier, of course, but it seems to be a normal thing now. But yeah, there's some really nice art, including this week's art, which is really nice. Last week's art was really nice too, so if you guys aren't checking out the changelogs, you guys definitely should, just for Justin Chan's art, because some of it is phenomenal. Like I was probably saying before this, Vlambeer live streamed the development every Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch TV/Vlambeer, and you can also subscribe to their channel and you will get the game. I'm not sure if that's a humble version or the Steam version. You'll have to consult with Vlambeer themselves, or you know, the channel themselves. And you also get access to some special emoticons specifically for Vlambeer subscribers. And of course, there is always the Nuclear Throne wiki, where you can get all the metadata, all that good information. I think I read today that they're trying to translate the language in Nuclear Throne, which apparently is an actual thing, if you guys didn't know. I think I mentioned that like way back in the day, but yeah, apparently Nuclear Throne has its own language, and I think even Jonas confirmed this. But it seems like the wiki is now trying to translate all of that. So definitely give those guys some props, because they are real committed. And yeah, that'll do it for us this week. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was informative. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.